Hey, everybody. So, I want to ask you a question, and you might be asking your own self this question. Is this a good time to start a nonprofit? I mean, there's so much going on. Why would you want to start a nonprofit now? I mean, that's a dumb question, right? Let's get into this because we'll find out in a minute. I got it. So, Claudia, is this a good
Yeah.
time to start a nonprofit? I know what I say, but what do you say?
You know what? I think it is a good time to start a nonprofit. And it's also a good time to think about ways to fund that nonprofit, not only how to start it, but how to stabilize it, how to keep it moving forward. Um, as I mentioned in my intro, just because the year is different, the administration is different, it does not change the fact that you see issues that you want to address in your community. And this is a good time to start a nonprofit as any other time. It's just a matter of strategy. How do you move forward in this new season that we find ourselves in? What is it that you need to do? Who do you need to have in your corner? What do you need to put in place to make sure that not only can you start the nonprofit, but so that the nonprofit can be sustainable moving forward?
Yeah, I
So
agree. I say it's always a good time to start a nonprofit, and I think everybody should have a nonprofit. Hold on before you say something. This doesn't mean that you have to be doing the work because I have a nonprofit, and my nonprofit is not active every day in the community. My nonprofit is just educational. Me providing educational. I do conferences for people, and I charge a low rate for them to get the education. It's an all day conference. But other people, you may be doing something where you have to be active. If you're feeding people, you may have to cook the food or go pick up the food. So everybody's different, but I think everybody should have a nonprofit. Your family foundation, leaving legacy for your family, putting money into a family account so that your children's children can go to college for free. I mean, we're going to need that because the way the education is going and the funding and everything like that, that is so key. And Claudia said something that was so important, having a strategy. If you are going to start a nonprofit, don't just go and fill out the paperwork because it's easy to just do it just like that. Make sure you sit down and write down your strategy. Write down the who, what, where, when, how, and how
mhm.
much is it going to cost. And then also your strength, your weaknesses, and who you need on your team. Who do you need to help you keep this organization healthy financially? I personally draw my people in when I need to do events or if I need to promote something. I gather my team. I have the same people that I know I can pick up the
Mhm.
phone and call. They're on my board, they're there for me. So everybody is different. You may need people who are actively helping to keep the organization healthy financially. So everybody's different. But the answer is yes, it is a good time to start a nonprofit. And we're going to tell you more reasons to start a nonprofit today in just a moment.
And you know what? The just following suit on that, when you start a nonprofit, there are just certain things that you should have in place. And we will talk about those things in later videos. But for today, getting some nonprofit education. What does it mean to have a nonprofit? How is a nonprofit different from a regular entity, from an LLC, from a partnership? What are the nuances in the nonprofit that are different? So if you're going to take on the task of starting a nonprofit, learn as much as you possibly can about nonprofit organizations because they are entities that can make a difference in your community to be able to help individuals with for housing, for instance. If you're working with the unhoused, if you're working with people who are hungry and food insecurities, there are different reasons why you want to start a nonprofit. And again, there are different ways in which to start the nonprofit. And the best way to do that is to sit down with your thoughts, with your strategy, with your teams, as Aretha just said, and go over what are the things that you already have in place that you can use in your nonprofit. A lot of times people say, "Oh, I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of people." But the question that I have for you is what is it that you do have that can help you with establishing a nonprofit organization?
Oh, Claudia said Pause. Cut that out. Ooh, Claudia said that she know people that say, "Well, I have a lot of money, but I don't know a lot of people." There are people like that that have a lot of money and like, don't know what to do with it. Trust me, they're still out there. Even today, they're still out there. But I want to talk
Mm.
about people who start for profits when they should be nonprofits, and vice versa, start nonprofits when they should be for profits. I know several people who started tutoring programs when they were providing tutoring and they thought it as a for profit and no one was paying for them, yet they were providing the services, getting burnt out because more and more people were coming because they knew like they're still going to tutor me, I don't have to pay, I can just say I don't have the money, when that could have been a nonprofit.
Mhm.
And you can do that. You can dissolve that for profit and then reincorporate as a nonprofit. And then people will give to that. I don't know why. It's the psychology of things. Corporations will give to that because then you can write down what are some of the outcomes in that tutoring program. I was able to help Aretha pass the SAT course. I was able to help Aretha graduate from high school. I was able to help Aretha, little Aretha, go from third grade to fourth grade on a high school reading level. You can write down some of those outcomes, but when you're doing it as a for-profit, you're probably and not everybody. I mean, I'm just giving you example because based on experience from talking to several people who've done that, you've burnt out and you don't take the time to write down those outcomes. You're just doing the work, you're just into the work. But if you set it up as a nonprofit and get other board members, because you probably get people to volunteer, you probably get more people to volunteer if you set it up as a nonprofit. Claudia?
Yeah, and Aretha, that was so important what you just shared, and what was resonating with me and what I kept hearing was the word nonprofit. Sometimes people get stuck at the word nonprofit, and we started this YouTube discussion about nonprofit, and that does not mean that you cannot make a profit. However, it means that your entity cannot be set up and designed for you to make lots of money, but your entity should be set up to help those in the community. So nonprofits does not mean that you cannot make a profit. In fact, you have to make a profit in order to keep your entity open. It's just a matter of making sure that that nonprofit was not set up so that you can get other people's money to enrich your own pockets. That's not what a nonprofit is for. It's a community-based public entity that is designed to help individuals in the public with needs, whatever those needs are, again, in your community and in your area. Aretha.
That was so, so good. Speaking of profit, there are so many nonprofits. If you just drive around your city and you see
Mhm.
those nonprofits who are making a profit, I mean, big example, Goodwill. Like you go in there
Mhm.
and you could buy your whole house full of furniture, clothes, everything,
Mhm.
and you walk out of there spending $1,000 and they've made a profit, but the profit is going towards good. There are so many others I can name. I actually did a webinar on that, the different nonprofits. And did you know that the NFL is a
Mm.
nonprofit? I believe they just changed their status, but they have been a nonprofit for many, many years. I said the NFL, the National Football League, where the Chiefs and the Eagles just played in the Super Bowl because they
Wow.
were providing sports. There's so many different categories under the nonprofit where people can claim nonprofit status. Your hospitals, your educational institutions, some of your funeral homes, your trust organizations, your
Mhm.
uh, football league, other football leagues, other sports leagues, hockey leagues. A lot of them are set up as a nonprofit. Oh, girl, I think I'm going down a rabbit hole because we can go on and on. The point is that you can make a profit. As Claudia said, you must make a profit in order to keep doing good in your community.
Absolutely, and then to add to that list, healthcare organizations are nonprofits. And the thing about it is nonprofits are there to help people. And that's to help people in different arenas, as Aretha mentioned, sports, for instance, the arts. That's another nonprofit where people really need to help and support for people who are artists to be able to fund um, education, information, and different things of that nature to be able to help people build out those skills so that they can in turn help other people. And when you're thinking about nonprofits, if I were to say what is the whole purpose and point of it, the whole point of it is to help other people and to be able to come together with other people with like minds and who have funding that can provide funding for you so that you can in turn be able to help the people that are in need of what you have to offer, whatever services, whatever products, whatever information that you have to share. Nonprofits are excellent tools and vehicles to use for those particular purposes.
Well, we gave you lots of ideas, lots of tips for you to use or for you to think about. Is this a good time to start a nonprofit? If you would like to book a one on one with me, click on the link below in the description area. Make sure you give thumbs up, subscribe. There's so much more education we want to provide for you, but we want to know what you want to talk about. So go ahead and put your comments in the comment section, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.